Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Save the day over here. Welcome to all the guests. We're holding smack in the middle, Daf Kuf Yudal and base, mamish in the middle. We have very, very interesting sugyas, mamish. That's I was thinking on the way here. Shas there's such variety. You go from Agadah to Limudim to this, and here's things that we never heard before. Omer Ravashi. Now, if I were to ask you, how do you know that's also to eat basa b'chalav and it's also b'hana, all the stuff you're not allowed to cook it? What would you tell me? It says more 3 times. So we're going to see that before we even get to that limud, there's like 3 other limudim. That's like one of the last ones. For whatever reason, Rashi and Chumash brings that one, and that's the famous one. What? Shulchan Aruch. Okay, that's I guess the main one. But before we get there, we have other limudim. Listen to this limud. This is unbelievable. Omer Ravashi minayin lebasa b'chol shasa b'achila. How do you know you're not allowed to eat it? It says in the Torah you're not allowed to cook it. How do you know you're not allowed to eat it? Shenemar listoichal kol teyeva kol shetiafti l'cha harehu bebal toichal. When the Torah tells you stay away from something, then the Torah is telling you you're not allowed to eat it. It's another pasuk about something completely different. You should not eat anything that's an abomination, that's disgusting. And this basa b'chalav that's disgusting, the Torah tells you you shouldn't cook it, so the Torah is telling you stay away from it. Anything that I said is disgusting, not allowed to eat. Okay, so we just said lo yistoichal. How do I know that you're not allowed to benefit from it? Bahana minayin. Like Reb Elazar, like Reb Elazar says, in the name of Reb Elazar. Anytime it says one of these 3 languages of achila, echad is achila, vechad is hana, b'mashma, it tells you that you're not allowed to benefit from it. But we see in the Torah sometimes you could benefit from something even though it says don't eat it. That's only when the Torah specifies specifically go ahead and eat it. Go ahead and benefit from it. The pasuk of Nevela is super interesting. Check this out. Maybe you weren't aware of this. The pasuk of Nevela is in the pasuk of basa b'chalav. It's the same pasuk. Let's see this pasuk. So before we even get to basa b'chalav, we're not even going to talk about it. But we had this sugi recently in Avodah Zarah. We had other places, I think. You're not allowed to eat a nevela. What do you do with it? The Torah tells you 2 options. Give it to the ger. Give it to somebody that accepted upon himself not to worship Avodah Zarah. He's Mekayim Sheva Mitzvahs B'nei Noach. Give it to the ger Taishav. Not a real ger. Not a full-fledged Jew. A semi. Someone, a guy a good guy.
No way.
Yeah, also no Avodah Zarah. Fine. Or you have another option. Machar lenachi. You could sell it to a non-Jew. Why? Kam Chodesh Atal Hashem. You're Kedoshim. And then great. So the question is, what should you do? A person has a nevela, has a dead carcass, died without shechita. What should you do? You have 2 options. You have a neighbor who started keeping Sheva Mitzvahs B'nei Noach. He's a good boy. Should you give it to him for free, or should you sell it to your cleaning lady, the goya, for $100? What should you do? So we have a machlokes. If you're mechuyev to give it away for free versus selling it. Or maybe you have the option, you can do both. Here's the question, could you sell it to the ger? It doesn't say that you can sell it. It says give it to the ger. Sell it to the guy. Could you give it for free to the guy? But sometimes you're allowed to. Neighbors, this, that. The halacha says you're allowed to because you need them. It's not free. But let's ask the better question. Could you sell it to a Noite? Could you sell it to a Noite? So that machlokes Reb Meir and Reb Yehuda. The bottom line over here is that the Torah tells us straight out that what you can do with something you're not allowed to eat. Lo yisaychlu starts off with lo yisaychlu, don't eat. Yet you could sell it. So you see a lot of have anah from this particular one because the Torah specified. Okay, now we're just going to go into details. But the point is that when the Torah specifies that you're allowed to benefit from it, you're allowed to benefit. If the Torah doesn't specify, automatically how do you say it in Hebrew? The default. B'rirat Mechdal. One of those hard ones. The default is no hana. Unless the Torah says you're allowed to have hana. So here comes the Gemara. What it says over there? It says over there, Leger ben Asino Legoy ben Mechira. The Sanyo Leistoichel called Nevela. Don't need an Nevela. Lager Shebishmach. It's none about Chaloi Mechar Lenoch. You have two options. Maybe I have to stick to what the Torah tells me. How do I know that I'm allowed to sell it to the Noite? He's already not over there. There's a man can sell it to him. They go together. How do I know that I could give it to a guy? Because it says together means you can do both. That's Shitas Remeir. Remeir says you can do both to each one. You can sell it to the ger. You can give it to the guy. No. It's exactly like the Torah tells you. You can only give it to the ger. You cannot sell it to him. My time of the Rebbe Yehuda. Why does Rebbe Yehuda say it's exactly as is? If the Remeir is right, because the Lashon seems like I'm right. It should really go together. Why does it say the word oy lamali? Just want to point out this Taisus, or we could just finish this sugya and I'll show you the beautiful Taisus, because a lot of you are probably thinking Taisus' question. Why in the world do I have to give something away for free when I can make money on it? It's not fair. So my animal died, it was worth $2,000 yesterday. Today it's worth $50. So I have to give it away? I have to lose more? So says Taisus, it's a very important Taisus. V'dafka nevela be'eretz Yisrael. She'einav d'gechavim mitzvim sham, not a lot of goyim. V'imbalam moichel of d'gechavim tzachnu d'medom mu'atim. Anyway, you're not going to make a lot of money, says Taisus, on this. You're talking about peanuts. You're talking about $50. You're not talking about a few $1,000s. That's why it's better just to give it away. Big deal. Avo pshita says Taisus. It's pashat. Yesh chayvitz l'adam limkor kodim kirenu lev gechavim b'mash yitenu afili yisroel chaveris. Says Taisus, he wants to say a chiddush in halacha that if you're going to really lose a nice, substantial amount of money, you don't have to give it away. That the Torah doesn't tell you to lose. The Torah is saying it's in a vela. Come on, you're in Eretz Yisrael. You live in Bet Shemesh. How many goyim do we have over here? Until you find someone who wants to give you something for it, it's not worth much. There's no market for it. No market, just give it away. Instead of making a few kopechkes, give it away. Oh, and then this is where Taisus comes in even more. The Ai comes to tell you that you have a bigger mitzvah to give it away than to sell it. Rebbe Yehuda agrees to this. It's obvious from logic that you should give it to the ger rather than selling it to the guy. There's a pasuk that says that there's a mitzvah to give to support the ger and the toishav. We're talking about a ger toishav here, okay? There's a bit of support. How much support? So says Taisus, you don't have to give away your house, whatever, but there's a small amount, $10, $20, whatever it is, there's something decent. Okay, so instead of you making $100, you give it away, you lost $10. Big deal. Because anyway, you have a mitzvah of tzedakah for him. So therefore it's logic that you should give it away rather than selling it. And now, the Gemara is going to go in and give a little ride through the Torah, which many of these psukim are what we read yesterday in Parashas Kisei, because it happens to be. I mean, when you read Parashas Kisei, it has the most mitzvahs of any parasha, so obviously you're going to bump in. But here's a lot of them. Shabbos, we're going to talk about food that was done through Isser Shabbos. It's not, so it should be also Bachila. Chayrish, plowing with two animals together, the food that comes out should be also Bachila, but it's not. If you plant two seeds together, the food that comes out is not also b'achila. According to what you're telling me, toyeva, it's an abomination. It should be also b'achila, like bas v'chala. If you shecht a mother and her son, we had a whole parak on it in this Masechta. If you shecht the two on one day, which is awesome, there's no issur to eat. The Mishnah says before you're allowed to eat the meat afterwards. B'shiluch haken, which is a difficult one to understand, but we'll get there. If you were over on Rashi at the end says, just without being over, the bird itself is asur, sitting on the eggs, and that bird that flies away should never be able to eat it. It should be a teyeva. Says the Gemara L'Me'ata. Daf Kuf Tesvav Amidal. Ma'aseh Shabbos the Tasru. If you were over on Shabbos, it happens a lot. No, somebody doesn't know halacha. Takes out the chont, takes off the chont off the oven, puts it back on. Ma'aseh Shabbos the Tasru. It should be also to eat. I told you not to make a Ma'aseh Shabbos, not to be Mechal Shabbos. So the Gemara Shabbos is different. Omakrok, kodesh hilochem. He kodesh ve'maseh kodesh. The day Shabbos has kedusha, the food not. You can't ruin the food because of that. So on a very chomer Isser like Shabbos, we have a pasuk that says no. The food doesn't become asur ba'achila. Says the Gemara, chayrish b'shor b'chamor. If you plow with a donkey and a horse together, something like this, or the chaysim pi para, or you muzzle the cow, v'dashba, and then you plow the field, mitasru. What should become asur? Whatever comes out. The zerayim. Do I need to show the other one? Oh, that was there. Forget it. Says the Gemara, Hashtu ma Shabbos b'chamiro ma'aseh mutarim. No, let's learn from Shabbos. That what? If Shabbos, that's chorus, it's a skila. Malchus, skila. Not Malchus. Chatos, skila. Uma Shabbos b'chamiro ma'aseh mutarim. The food that you make on Shabbos, you're allowed to eat afterwards. Hanelei kolshkin. So certainly, the chayrish b'shor v'chamor yachtov. So what's the question that everybody should be asking now? You hear what he asked? So what about basar b'chalav? We're saying the whole time the basar b'chalav is toyeva. It's an abomination. So it's asur. Then we bring a pasuk from Shabbos that it's not a problem on Shabbos. But what about shor v'chamor? Also not a problem. We learn from Shabbos that it's not a problem. So why basar b'chalav is different than those? So says, huh?
You have to mean something. We have a rule that has to mean something, so it makes sense.
Look what Rashi says. Rashi says better than you. Says Rashi, "Avo basar b'chalav le'armin na'gav v'choyim edo k'siv l'yisoichad kol sheti av'cho u'mistaber d'yisur d'kro le'kol amar." The achil toyeva gufa. You're eating the actual thing that the Torah said not to do. The Torah said don't put meat and milk together, and you did, and you're eating that. Over here, you're eating the outcome of what the Torah said don't do. The Torah said don't cook, and then you're eating the outcome of that. They said don't put a fire, don't plow, and what came out next year comes out this thing. So that's just the outcome. It's not the actual thing itself. Kilai Yisroim l'tasru. But what about you take the two seeds and the Torah says don't put the two seeds together? This is the gufa itself, and you put it in the ground. This would be similar to basar b'chalav because it's the actual thing that you're not supposed to put together. So the Gemara, the Galer Rachman Gaber Kilai Ken Pen Tigdash. Something similar called, there's two seeds, you take a banana and a carrot and you put them together. But there's also Kilei HaKerem, the original. When you plow, you seed wheat together with grape. We take the word pen tigdash and we learn pen tukadesh, so you have to burn it. You burn the kilei hakerem. So it seems like only that type of combination of seeds of wheat and grape do you have to burn. Miklal, the kilei zeraim sharu, other types you don't have to burn. Says the Gemara, okay, there you have to burn and it's also bahana. But maybe there's still something wrong with the two seeds, the banana and the carrot. Why and what? You shouldn't be able to eat it. Okay, over there you're not allowed to have enough from it, but maybe regular seeds you're not allowed to eat. Maybe regular seeds you're not allowed to eat. So the Gemara says, when you put two animals together, it's us for you to make two different species together. It says in the same pasuk the two things. Also, in this week's Pasha, right? Where are we? Vayikra, no. No. Ma ben chayotze mimeno muteres. The animal, the offspring of the two species, you're allowed to benefit from. You're allowed to eat it. Asadcha hayotze mimeno mutar. Since in the same pasuk I say, when it comes to regular kilayim, you're allowed to eat. V'kilay behema gufayu min olon. How do you know that you're allowed to eat? You take a cow and you take a goat, or better yet, you take a goat and a deer, you put them together and you have a koi, a koi. You're allowed to eat the kvi. How do you know? How do you know? It's made from an isser. It would be like, I don't know what a kiwi is made out of. I don't know if it's true, it's made out of 7 different things. It could be it's original, but you shouldn't be able to eat a grapefruit. You shouldn't even have a grapefruit that took an orange and a lemon or whatever they did to make a grapefruit. It's klein. But we're allowed to eat it. How do we know that you're allowed to eat it? Because we learn from a behema. Then what? The Torah says you're not allowed to bring a carbon that's made from 2 different species, like a koi. So we see it's dafka as a carbon, it's mutter for a hedyot. So if a person shechs the mother cow and the baby calf on the same day, should be also to eat the meat, and we know it's mutter to eat the meat. What's this idea? We're learning so many new concepts. Not new. These are chazarah for most of us, but people that just started now. The classic is that the Torah says you can't shecht an animal until it's 8 days old. So if it's 5 days old, it's missing its time. It didn't get to 8 days yet. It's missing time. The same thing, if you shecht the mother, you're not allowed to shecht the baby, that baby's mechuz's man, because today you're not allowed to shecht it. You have to wait until tomorrow. It's missing a day. You're shechting a day too early. When the Torah says that oisev is benoy, which is mechuz's man, you're not allowed to bring it as a carbon, but for a private citizen, it's mutter. Yeah, I see the shaking. Shiluach haken litzach. The shiluach haken. So it's a little annoying, so to speak. What's shiluach haken? You'd say, if I asked you, what's shiluach haken that should be asur? What would you tell me? Any regular person, tell me, Mendy, what's shiluach haken asur? What should be asur? In what way? You send away the mother, and what should be, if you don't send away the mother? If you don't send away the mother, then the egg should be asur. Rashi says, mamish wild. He says, no, I don't like that pshat. No good. Better pshat is that the mother herself, if you didn't send her away, she's a shtik chaticha d'isura. She's mamish asur. Because you have to send her away. You didn't send her away, but you didn't even. So if she flies away, she remains asur. The isur doesn't go away from her. And then it says, which is not 100%. It's not so posh. How do you understand that? So you don't send it away. Somebody else is going to find it. Why is that asur? It's batul b'roiv. Okay, because at the end of the day, there's a little bit something not so gishmak in it. It's a piece of meat that's asur. Oh, so we got another one, Rabbi Isa. Another source. How do you know? Says Rish Lakish. How do you know basul b'chalav is asur? Says the Gemara, Talmud lo yimar al toichlu mimenu no ubasul b'vushel. Where's this pasuk, Rabbi Isa? Korban Pesach. It says you're not allowed to eat it raw. You have to cook it. Now it says a double lashon of cooking. What else in the Torah do you cook besides Korban Pesach? Basar b'chalav. There's an isser cooking. Shein tav lo yimar mevushel. It's an extra word. Matam lo mevushel. Lo yimar loch. Yesh l'cha bishul achashu kazeh. There's another one that's also just like Korban Pesach. If you don't cook it, it's also b'hana. Beizeh zeh basar b'chalav. Basar b'chalav. Isana says Rish Lakish, I learned it from a Korban Pesach. Omerle, Rabbi Yochanan, Gemara Dikalashin. Ku'ura zu shashana Rebbe. What, it's so disgusting, Rebbe's pshat. You don't like Rebbe's pshat? What's wrong with Rebbe's pshat? They have to come on to new pshat. What did Rebbe say? It says by Psula Mikdashim. What's Psula Mikdashim? And this, Rabbi says, is fascinating. Psula Mikdashim is an animal you dedicated to the Beis Hamikdash. You said, I want to bring this to the Beis Hamikdash. Unfortunately, it got a major mum. A lion came and bit off its whole leg. It's a mum. So now what do? You can't bring it as a carbon. So what do? You sell it, you redeem it, but it still has issues. It still has a little bit of kedusha in it. you can't shear its wool, you can't this, that, a few halachas. So you have a mixture of chulin and kachim in the same animal. So I'll ask you a question. Stop a question. It has a mixture of kachim and chulin in it. So let's say I plow my field with this cow that's kachim and chulin. You could actually draw a line down the middle. This side is kachim, this side is chulin. I plow my field with it. Am I over on plowing my field with two minim? Stop, I'm throwing out a question over there. Huh? Yeah. So what's the answer? The answer is that the Gemara Maki says yes. It's two minim. You believe this? So Lo Techleno is talking about Basel Chalav. Why is it talking about Basel Chalav? It's talking about Psulam Mikdashim. Check this out, you'll understand. Pasuk Chav Gimel says, then it says Pasuk Chav Lo Techleno. Again, I already said in Pasuk Chav Gimel, don't eat it. Lo Techleno. And then Pasuk Chav Hey, once again, Lo Techleno. So what do we see here? There's a bunch of words that are extra. So we're going to take one of these words and we're going to use it for our sugya. Says Rebbe. It's talking about Basel Chalav. It's for Basel Chalav because when it doesn't have any reason to be there, we have to use it. Wouldn't you get that Lo Techleno is talking about Basel Chalav? Amris, here, Kishrin over here, genius. One of the things is Davar Halav Minyana. You should learn from something similar. Minyana. But what's Psulam Mikdashim? Bishnei Minim. Says Rashi, how's it two Minim? It's Chulin and Kachim. And guess what? Basar Chalav. Basar Chalav. Two Minim. It makes sense that this word Lo Techleno is Basar Chalav. I'm just saying, seriously, if you put your mind to it, would you be able to come up with something like this? Wow. Afkan, Bishnei, meaning, over here also, we're talking about possible chalav. Oh, we're holding all the way there. Givaldik. Imayi, says the Gemara, why did Rish Lakish go to a new pshat from, he's learning it from Korban Pesach. What's wrong with Rebbe? Rabbeinu HaKadosh. Just stick with it. It's Mardik. Great pshat. Over there it says Lo Techleno, right? 3 times Lo Techleno means don't eat. How would I know that there's Isra or no? Kamash Malon. That's why I have my pasuk from Korban Pesach over there. It's also Ba'ana. You're not allowed to benefit from it. Pasuk Chalav also you're not allowed to benefit from it. Rebbe Ba'ana Manale. So, but what does Rebbe do? Rebbe only brings a pasuk of Achilu, not Ano. Nafkali Mahacha. He learns it from there. Ne'emar Kam Kodesh Atal Hashem. By Basar Chalav right before, but it's interesting, yeah? I gotta admit, it's a little interesting. Because it's really talking about an Avela. They talk about it, there's actually a big comma. There's an asnacht over there. It's a different thing. Fine, but it says in the same pasuk, by Isurei Bia. It's even a shiloh what it is, what kind of Bia it is. But Akopanim, by a certain type of relations, it says, there's an Isser, in other words, the Isra Hana, says Rashi, Mala'am Bana, Afkan Bana. We see the idea of Isra Hana. The Reb Eli Stefansky Daf, another source for Isser Achila and Hana by Basar B'Chalav. The Reb Eli Stefansky Amra Torah Kishitim Kireno Loite Bashleno Vitim Kireno. What's going on here? So if you don't see this pasuk in front of you, you might have a problem understanding this Gemara. But now it's so understandable. The whole pasuk is talking about an avela. At the end of the pasuk, it says, that's the main connection here in this Gemara. It says, so I would think that when I give it or I sell it to the guy, let me make my tamim out of it. Let me make a hamburger, a cheeseburger out of it, and then I'll sell it to the guy. So I'm Torah, Kishitim Kireno. When you're going to sell this in the Vela, don't cook it in milk. Why? Because it's the Isra Hana. The very small Tana. Oh, this is the one that we're so familiar with. After 4 of them, I don't know how many, 4 or 5 different attempts, all the way from Daf Yomi Shiur of the base, the beginning of Shiur today, we're finally getting there, a daf later. This is what everybody's familiar with. Rishon Tana, Stefansky Daf Chalevi Mo Sholish Palmim, Echad L'Isra Achila, Ve'echad L'Isra Hana, Ve'echad L'Isra Bishol. This is the one that Rashi brings. Levi says it's in the Shulchan Aruch also. Tanya Yisrael Yudoimer. Rabbi say, I really enjoyed this because it brings you, it comes from all different directions. Yisrael Yudoimer. Menayin Lebaz B'chol Shas, or another source. Nemer Kan. Kiam Kodosh At. It says the word Kodosh. V'nemer Alon V'anshei Kodesh Tiuni. Ubasa B'sada Treifa. We're talking about a Treifa, an animal that dies. Tachchita, Treifa. It has a one of these wounds that it's not going to heal from. So what is this called, this kind of limud, when you have the two words that are the same? Anybody else want to jump in and tell me? It says Kadosh over here on the top pasuk, and it says Kadosh on the bottom pasuk, so we compare the two. What is that called? Gzeira Shava. So we're starting off with Gzeira Shava. We're going to work our way into a Kavachaimer, and eventually we're going to get with Ma'atzad. We're going to go through all Shlishim Midushat and I just want to know if anybody here could come up with the stuff on his own. I think it's very cool. Bemis. It's geschmack. Malalon by treifo osur. You're not allowed to eat the treifo. Afkan osur. You're not allowed to eat basar b'chala because it says the same word. Kodesh is called Gzeira Shava. We know Gzeira Shava is from Har Sinai. We don't make this stuff up. This Moshe Rabbeinu, if this is it, he got this Gzeira Shava from Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, but it only says the Isra Achila. But treifo you're not allowed to eat. You're allowed to benefit from. Oh, so we have a Kavachomer. I'm a Kavachomer. Uma Arla. Here, Arla, this guy. You could actually probably lower the volume slightly. The first 3 years of the tree is mamish, osur, bahano. You're not allowed to benefit at all from it. I'll ask you a question while you're watching this. Let's say me and Noam and Avi, we love looking at nice mountains and waterfalls. Let's say we see a beautiful orchard of 2.5-year-old trees with gorgeous fruit. Man, beautiful, beautiful stuff. You know, you go to Holland and you see these tulips and, you can see mamish benefit. My father-in-law, until they just chopped them all down, he had in front of his tree apple trees. Like 15 apple trees. Unbelievable. It was a special breed. Like in spring, it was like pink. It was like crazy beautiful. Are you allowed to sit there and look at it when it's 2.5 years old? Just look at it. It's Arla. That's what everybody would think. So I'm telling you, there's a machlokes pri megadim in Chavas Das. If there might be Isra Istaklos on it. I'm telling you. I'm just telling things that are going to push buttons here. That's my job. I'm doing a great job. So listen to this. Arla. You didn't do anything. It automatically is created b'isra. My Arla shenevda b'avera asura b'hano. Basa b'cholov shenevda b'avera. The din shasura b'hano. I call upon him. Mala Arla shekein lehoisel shasat kosher. So let's do this for a second, not to confuse anybody. I'm learning basa b'cholov from Arla. Now what? Arla, the first 3 years is also b'hano. Still to basa b'cholov. But there's something special about Arla. That it was never mutter, it was created b'isr. Basar chalav, basar is mutter, chalav is mutter. When you put them together, it's awesome. So now I'm going to have to learn from something else. I'm going to learn from chametz and Pesach. That what? It had a shasa kosher. You're allowed to eat pizza all the way up until Pesach. Once Pesach comes in, and it's asur, bano. Chametz Pesach yichiach. Did I skip? Mal ha'arz shem lo yosel l'shasa kosher. Chametz Pesach yichiach. Shoysel l'shasa kosher, v'as bano. Here, I'm going to put a karas here. It's super chomer. You can't bring any raya from Pesach. Don't bring a raya from Basar B'cholov from Pesach. It's a karas. Of course, it's also bano. So now what would be the right thing to do, Rabbi, if I stop here? Where would I prove there's something in this list right over here that doesn't have karas, yet it's also bano, and that's Arla. So here we go. Kilaya Ker. Oops! I just jumped to Kilaya Ker. Why? I could just go back to Arla. So that's Gemara's question in the future. But Kilei Akere, when I put wheat and grapes together, there's no karas and there's also okay. Kilei Akere chichu. Shenar karas v'asa b'ana. Does this b'ana? And then Mela what? I'm going to go and learn all the way to Basar B'chalav. In other words, I'm going to learn from Arla, but Arla has a problem. So I learn from Pesach. Pesach has a problem. Kilei Kerem doesn't have a problem. Each one has a little bit of a problem, but there's a common denominator that what? Also Bahano. As the Gemara, so if so, it's beautiful. You just gave me a great limud from a Kavachomer with the Tzad Shava, the whole thing, it's all this. So let's erase the initial Gzer Shava. Let me remind the Oila, we had a Gzer Shava, it says Kadosh Kadosh. That's how we started. From Kadosh Kadosh I learned that you're not allowed to eat. How do I know you're not allowed to benefit? I know you're not allowed to benefit from this whole thing right over here. Why do I need why did Gzer Shava learn you're not allowed to eat and benefit all from here? It's all the same thing. You're not allowed to eat chametz and you're not allowed to benefit from chametz. You're not allowed to eat arla, you're not allowed to benefit. So just learn Basel Chalav from these three guys together, and together I'll know that you're not allowed to eat and benefit. Why did I start off this whole sugya with a Gzer Shava? Says the Gemara, Lama Gzer Shava Leisik Kula, V'Kavachayim Arla. Umar lo shelo nev be'avera asur be'machil be'ana Basel Chalav shelo nev be'avera and then shelo asur be'machil be'ana. If Arla, you never did anything wrong, you just planted it, it's also machil be'ana, so certainly chametz Basel Chalav. Says the Gemara, because I have a pircha, because there's something else called a shar, chamar, and chayz pi. That what you do in avera, should never be avera usharu, and nevertheless it's mutter. So too was you did in avera, it should be mutter, shouldn't be also bana. Says the Gemara, here, why do you have? After you get stuck by chametz and Pesach, and then chametz and Pesach kares, prove from Arla there's no kares. Why are you going to another object? Here, should look like this. Arla, you have a problem Pesach, and the answer right over here should be Arla. Shmak. You should go around in a circle, and we have a common denominator that what? Arla and Pesach. Asur b'achil and asur b'ana, asur tu basar b'chalav. We could stop over here. I just want to point something out, that when you're only learning from two different items, like on the left, Arla and Pesach, then I could throw in this nevela. The nevela is a problem. I see from nevela. But when I'm learning on the right, I bring in that extra item. I have Arla, Pesach, and Kilei Kerem. Then I cannot just push it off with a koldu of a nevela. It becomes stronger. I have three items I'm learning from. Then, Nad Rabboisai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shiur today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.